I quit. Those were the two best feeling words that I have ever told anybody, at least in a professional setting. Now, most people's dreams, especially those of you that are watching this video, chances are you want to get rid of your traditional 9-to-5 job. I don't blame you. I was the same way. I was absolutely desperate to get out of there. So today's video is going to focus on a few simple strategies that I used to implement into my own business and into my own life that actually allowed me to finally quit the traditional 9-to-5 job. Well, actually, it wasn't really a 9-to-5. It was more of an 8-to-5 because we have an hour break. So it just makes it that much worse, I guess. Everything that I'm going to be telling you in today's video is easily applicable to pretty much anybody. So that way they can start to build their own business and finally find financial freedom and just overall get out of the 9-to-5 life. And besides that, even have some fun while you're going at it. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, I need to mention that this is not something that happened overnight. I wish it was, and it probably could have if I had implemented a few different strategies or just switched a few things around a bit. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I got to where I needed to be. So don't expect overnight success. These kinds of things, they take work. Yeah, you can potentially become an overnight success. It happens from time to time, but don't count on that. Count on putting in the work for at least a few months, even a few years. In my case, this entire process actually took me about 2 to 3 years. But trust me, I don't regret anything. I am the happiest I've ever been. And the way that I always see it is 5 years from now, you're going to be looking back thinking either I wish I had started doing that or I am so happy that I had started doing that. And right now I'm in that same position. I'm looking back 3 or 4 years back thinking I am so happy that I actually did this, because if I didn't, I'd still be stuck working in my old field of IT, which I enjoyed it, but did you turn it off and back on? If any of you work in the IT field or have worked in the IT field, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Now, the icing on the cake to this entire thing was just the fact that even though I was working in a pretty good field, in a professional field like IT, I wasn't making enough money to pay down bills, take any vacations, or really just do anything fun or anything different. I was stuck in the same exact cycle week after week, month after month. Living in one of the most expensive cities in the US, in South Florida, it's hard. Unless you're working as like a lawyer or a doctor or anything like that, any very high profession, chances are you might be struggling. Everything is just so expensive here. So what changed? What made me finally say, I'm out of this? Well, the pandemic. Honestly, that's what really made me realize my worth to the company. It was nothing. I was worth absolutely nothing to the company. The craziest thing is that we actually had the ability to work from home without a problem, and they didn't care. They were like, no. We need to be in the office. Now, I'm going to get a bit personal here, so I'm sorry. But at the time, my grandfather was actually in the hospital, and I was going to see him almost every single day. That, coupled with the fact that the pandemic was going on, made me insanely uncomfortable to even go see him. And he was in his last days, so, you don't want to go in there and just make things even worse because you accidentally brought something in. So that was really the moment that I realized that your 9-to-5 job, your corporate job, regardless of what it is, regardless of how well they treat you, chances are, if you're not useful to them or if you don't want to do what they want you to do, they're going to easily replace you. It's not going to be a problem for them. There's tons of other people that are willing to take your position in a moment's notice. So at that point, I decided, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. I need to focus. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to start my own business. I've always wanted to start some sort of e-commerce business. And I knew the general idea of dropshipping and print on demand, but I just never actually executed it. A fire was essentially lit under my ass, and it made me think I need to do this. Because if I ever get fired from this job or if I ever lose my job or anything, I need to have some sort of backup. So I decided to start print on demand on Etsy. And that was the best decision that I ever made. Not just that, but I also started dropshipping on eBay. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go all in on this. And any bit of spare time that I had, I spent building my stores, filling them with products, and making content. If I didn't make content, I would have never exploded the way that I did, and my businesses would have never gotten the traction that they did. At least not my Etsy store. Now, not only that, but what really started to take off was my third business, which was actually using print on demand to fulfill orders for local businesses. So I was cold calling people on Instagram all the time, or cold messaging, letting them know that, hey, I have this business. I can do custom products for you. If you need uniforms, if you need anything of that sort, let me know. I can get these things done for you. And lo and behold, tons of clients actually started coming in through that. Instagram is a gold mine, especially if you can get personal with people and talk to them on a one-on-one personal level. So I started hustling like crazy. I started coming up with different designs for businesses, making their t-shirts. Not only that, but I was also coming up with different designs for my Etsy print-on-demand store and looking for more products to sell on my eBay store. These were 3 separate businesses, all bringing in different amounts of income to my main source of my income, which was my 9-to-5. So what I did at this point was open up a separate bank account where all of my profits were going to go to. After a while, after I started saving a bit of money up in there, I started using that same money to be able to keep running my business. So I would take out whatever I needed from there to be able to pay for my orders, and then any profits would just go right back in there. That account remained completely untouched until the time that it came that I needed to use it to completely pay off a card. After a few months, or maybe after about a year, I had paid down quite a good amount of debt. So I decided, you know what? Let's have some fun. So I got my wife and I decided to take her to New York City, which has always been her dream, for her 30th birthday. And let me tell you that was probably one of the best trips that I've ever had. I didn't have to worry about a budget, even though of course it's always good to set a budget because you don't want to overdo it, but I didn't have to really be stingy, I guess you could say. I didn't have to worry all the time about, can we afford this? Don't get that because it's not in the budget. Oh, that's a little bit more than what we want to spend. On this trip, I told my wife, let's go, let's have some fun. We've been working our butts off for the past few years and have never done anything fun with it. We've been struggling. We've been trying to pay things down. So let's do it. So we had so much fun on that trip. If it hadn't been for starting my own businesses, that would have never been possible. Then after that, back to work, back home, back to my corporate IT job, back to running my businesses, and back to saving up money. Then after a few more months, or maybe after a year or two, I finally thought, this is the time. I need to quit my job if I really want to start scaling my businesses, ultimately to really find what I want to do. Because I don't want to work IT. I don't like it. I don't like working in an office. I'm done with that. So after quite a few months of just debating it and thinking it, I took the plunge and I told my boss, I quit. Nah, it wasn't really like that, but it was more like, hey man, it was nice working with you, all this and that. He was a really cool person. My actual manager was actually really cool, but it was the higher ups that were kind of like, ugh. So I told him what was going on. He told me that he understands, and we parted ways. Shortly after that, I just kept running my businesses. I kept doing what I was doing with my content, and I actually came across AutoDS. And that's when things got even better. Because of the fact that I had experience with print on demand and with dropshipping, I was actually able to land exactly what you're seeing right now. Me making videos for AutoDS, sharing my experiences, sharing my knowledge, and helping inform all of you on the dropshipping and the print-on-demand business. And best of all, on how you can use these businesses and these business models to get ahead in life as an entrepreneur and ultimately, I guess, as a businessman or a businesswoman. Look, without actually getting started with my businesses, without actually putting the time into my businesses and actually being patient and putting in the work for 2 to 3 years, I would probably still be wasting my life in the corporate IT job. I would probably still be there right now instead of making these videos. Now, best of all of these things put together, including finding AutoDS to be able to continue my businesses and to continue scaling, me and my wife were finally able to reach our goal of actually purchasing our first house. And that was the best feeling ever. That's the one thing that we've always worked towards, that we always thought was right out of reach. Because every single time that we would try to look into purchasing a house or try to see what we needed to purchase a house, housing prices were right here. They would just immediately go up here and then up here and then up here, until eventually it was just through the ceiling. So it was something that just started to become more and more unattainable and unreachable until I finally took the plunge and started my businesses. And this is what you guys need to do. You need to finally start your business. You need to stop being scared, and you need to really dedicate yourself, because if you don't, nothing's ever going to change. And you're going to stay doing the same thing over and over and over. I'm not sure if you remember, but last year, this wasn't my background. My background was a completely different room. That room was actually in my old apartment. This is officially my studio. It is located in my new house, which again, I was finally able to do this thanks to my businesses, thanks to print on demand, thanks to dropshipping, and of course, thanks to making content. So if you've been looking for some sort of inspiration, I hope this video was able to help you out. I hope this video was able to light that fire under your ass and actually get you to start your businesses and put in the work. Because not everybody is out there driving Lamborghinis. Everyone has different goals. My goal, yeah, eventually I do want to drive a Lamborghini, but for me, it was more of a priority to quit my job and be able to purchase a house. Everyone has their priorities. Not everybody's going to be the same, but in order to actually fulfill those dreams and achieve those goals, you need to start taking the first steps and you need to start your business. Now, I will say this, if I had discovered AutoDS while I was working my 9 to 5, I probably would have scaled everything a lot quicker. Simply because at the time, I was doing everything manually. AutoDS would have helped me streamline my entire eBay business because Etsy wasn't supported at the time, and it really would have helped a lot. Might have even helped me open up a few more stores on Shopify. But either way, that's in the past. What's your goal for 2025? What's your overall goal in life? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Please stay dedicated, stay motivated. You got this. Trust me, if I can do this, somebody that just was working a regular IT job, so can you. Huge thank you to everyone for watching. My name is Mario with AutoDS. Wish you all nothing but the best and the most success in your businesses, and I'll catch y'all next time.